Welcome back to Sanctuary Wings. I'm Véronique.
And I'm Paola.
And we realized that we got so excited in episode 1 that we never even introduced ourselves. So I'm the designer and a maker. I make the journals and activities. And I'm someone that's learning to live my life more gently and more mindfully.
Amazing. And I'm our holistic or wellness learner. And for me, I think I'm just the gentle habits advocate. Like I am always like, be gentle. What are the little things every day you can do? It's day by day.
So I see you a bit like a teacher, especially like in our
definitely.
dynamic. You're definitely the gentlest teacher.
Yeah. It could also be because it's part of your path, right? You're wanting to be more gentle.
Yes. I'm actually a very gentle person, but not in my mind. Like not on myself, which you talked about last
Yes.
episode. And it's still like that
It's on your mind.
constant mind rolling. And that's where like I want to learn to be more peaceful,
More calm.
more
Go with the flow. You don't need to just think, or overthink. Sometimes it just happens. It's so easy to do that. So that's something that we're hoping that maybe we can learn from each other and we can be here and maybe you guys learn from us too, right? Because it's a journey we're all taking together.
And Bella and I are on a very different part of our journey age-wise, but we're very much learning together. In some ways, I feel like you're like in these aspects. I really feel like you're more like the older sister.
Amazing.
But yeah, so I feel like it's going to be really fun with our different perspectives.
Absolutely. And while today we're continuing with our January theme, we want to continue to build on these foundations of gentle life and continue with this week's topic with intentions and gratitude.
I'm not so good with intentions. I'm really good with gratitude.
Amazing.
So I've got like at least I'm like 50% like
very good with intentions. And I got to work on my gratitude.
Oh,
so
that's perfect. All right. So like last week we talked about arriving in our life and noticing where we are and what this season is asking of us.
And since this episode is all about intention and gratitude, we wanted to share this week's free resource, which is a weekly gratitude tracker.
And it's just a simple printable sheet that you can use every week. And it's like just a few lines a day, like small moments of gratitude, grounding, or noticing. And we'll put a link at the bottom.
Yeah, below. You'll see it. It'll be easy to find, trust. And we're not trying to force, positivity or anything, but I think the most important thing is you have to train your subconscious or your brain and your attention to land on what nourishes your mind, because it will nourish your mind, body, and soul. And this is, I think, the goal.
Yes. And, it's kind of funny about forcing positivity because I've been told that I'm toxic. Like I have toxic positivity. Like I'm too positive. And I've been trying to work on that.
Right.
So like, like the talking about not forcing positivity, like, yeah, no, we don't want to do that.
No, I think it should come naturally. And while, yes, there can always be too much of everything, you need a balance, but if you're feeling positive, feel positive. Extend that positivity. Like others may not take it as in a positive way because they may not be in a way to receive it, and that's fine, but you need to also be true to yourself. So while people may call you toxic, that may just be a reflection of themselves.
Yeah, I think it's, again, like you just said, a balance.
Exactly.
Like when the positivity is about myself, I don't think it can be toxic.
Exactly.
When someone is down and I try to show them the bright side of things, that can go too far.
Well, and they may not be willing or accepting of that. And that's where I think as we grow, we learn to recognize who is willing, when they're not. And I think maybe that's something else we can work on and grow, because that's when you know if someone's ready to accept help, for example, right? Not everyone, they don't want your help, right? Everyone's in a different path.
And sometimes people kind of need that space first before
Absolutely.
turning to positivity. Like,
Absolutely.
especially if something's just happened, like they might need that, we'll call it space to mourn. Like it's
Yeah.
not necessarily mourning like a death or anything, but just that space first before you can try to show them the positive sides of
Or
things.
switch your brain, right? Because that perspective switching it is tough. So for some people, it may be harder to be able to switch it. Because from, as you practice it, it's like a muscle we were talking earlier today. Your brain is like a muscle, and if you practice positivity or practice intentional thinking and train your body on what nourishes you, it's going to be easier, right? And that's the goal with these reflection journals. And as you practice daily intention writing and reflection and these weekly things, or I think in the journal you were saying there's a weekly
There's a weekly gratitude tracker, actually.
There you go.
You get to, at the end of the week, you actually look for 3 things that you're grateful for. We call it the nest of thanks.
And you're training yourself to recognize the glimmers. What are the good things that happened, right?
The glimmers.
It's a glimmer.
Glitter.
It's a good thing, right?
Yes.
And for people, like, I'm a very visual person, so I'm like, ooh, that's beautiful, or like, I love that, or that made me happy, right? And I say it out loud, or I say it in my brain, and I see, that's a glimmer.
That's great.
And I've trained myself to do that, because it's not easy. Because my automatic was to see that. I was really easy to be upset.
Really?
We call it la bruja in Spanish, the witch.
The witch. Wow, I can't see that.
Yeah, so I was la bruja, right? Because I was easy to get upset, very easy.
You know what? I was too, actually, in my 20s, for sure. Yeah.
Right? And that you train yourself. And I think the first step is realizing that that's happening, switch it out, and work on it, right? Because not everyone may be ready, right? Especially for you, it was in your 20s. For me, it was in my, in my 20s
Because
also.
it's just a witchy time.
It's a theme, guys. La bruja is in your 20s. I don't know. And yeah, I think for me, meditation and breath work really helped me dig that out and realize I don't want this. Like it felt heavy. And now when I release that, I feel lighter in life and I'm able to laugh and feel more
so
joy.
much better, right? We think that we need to be like this for other people, but really it's for ourselves.
It's internal. Yeah. So, and as we continue to dive into today's themes, we want to share how this podcast will work. So last week we kind of did it where each week we'll bring a list of, topics, touch points, or even questions to guide our conversation. And from there, we'll explore, how we feel, our ideas, our opinions, and any learnings that we've gathered from our own lives, right? So it's kind of already what we've been doing, but it's not necessarily scripted because they're just starting points that help us to stay grounded while still leaving all the space for curiosity, intuition, and just what comes up.
All right, that sounds good.
So we'll start with Vero. What are your gentle intentions?
I like that with the word gentle there because there's a lot less pressure.
Mm-hmm.
We mentioned that I'm not very good at intention, so bear with me. I'm going to give it a good try though. So, see, this is where the gentleness for me is not going to be so much about slowing down because my intention this year is to, I won't say speed it up, but just to do as much as I can without being overwhelmed. And that's where the gentleness, I think, comes.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be like to figure out what my limit is.
Mm-hmm.
So the gentleness is, I think actually I'll be able to get a lot more accomplished by being gentle, by being like, oh, this podcast isn't perfect, but it's okay. Like,
you did your best. Right?
I did my best. I did it.
It's almost like recognizing all you do, right? So yes, being gentle, but being like recognizing it.
Yeah. Mindful.
Mindfulness. There you go.
There you go.
Be mindful. We're using the right word.
And what about you?
I think that's interesting because I agree. And again, like I very easily push myself. Like I spoke in the previous week's podcast how Paola do better. Or like I'll on the daily, I will have like a list of daily things to do. And my goal every day is to get as many done as I can. But what I've started doing is I'll be gentle to myself. Like, hey, I got one thing done today. Awesome. That's cool. And that's it. The rest can be for tomorrow, right?
Yeah, and I think it's like finding that balance of like you're like being productive enough to feel good
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and not being like, oh, but I didn't do this.
Yes.
It's just I guess feeling good about what you achieved and still continuing to have that, because I tend to be very all or nothing with that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So if I say, oh, be so gentle on myself for not accomplishing anything, I will never accomplish anything. So it's kind of that balance of being able to say like, okay, I'm going to get as much done as possible, but I'm not going to get overwhelmed in the process.
Exactly.
And I'm not going to beat myself up when I don't get it done.
And it goes back to what are the baby steps, right? You can do one thing a day, two things a day, and that's okay. You may not get everything done on your list, and that's fine. So day by day.
Way too big.
Yeah. No, don't do that because that's overwhelming and it can create stress. And then you start freaking out, or you're like, and you just end up doing something completely different, right? And you don't actually get what you want done, and then you're unhappy. Again, we're rolling. It's like an anthill that is now a mountain, right? So even if you do one thing a day, like, hey, I need to put my laundry in, or I need to do my laundry, that's okay.
I don't know if the microphones are picking this up, but the rescue cockatiels, which were part of what we named this project after, they have things to add to this.
Yeah, they're talking right now.
They're like screaming, and it's a little distracting. But we did name the project after them, so I can kind of understand that they want to be a part of it.
They also have some gentle intentions. So I think the difference is, I have to do this, I must do this, or I want to do this.
Yes, and that's actually really good, because that's kind of what I was trying to explain.
Mm-hmm.
That I want to do a lot, but I don't want to feel that I have to do it.
No. And you want to do it, and then it's easier to do it. So being gentle and doing baby steps. It'll by the end of the day, or by the end of the week, or the month, if you look back, you can be like, wow, I got a lot done. I did a lot.
Yeah.
And that's for me, that's what feels good. Yes. You're like, I did it. Yes. And that's good, right? Because you don't realize until you look back. So maybe it could also be a habit if you have a hard time starting. Look back about what you did last week. Like, oh, I did this.
Yeah.
So therefore, I'm going to start one thing
and do
today.
like a reverse to-do list.
Almost.
Instead of a to-do list, is I did list.
Yeah. That could be awesome. And you could do that in your daily journal, also your daily reflection. Maybe you want to start framing it as like, this is what I did yesterday and it felt really good. Or I need to change this mindset or whatever, right? Because it's a reflection. Take it whichever path that you want.
Oh yeah, no, because none of this is homework. Like there's not a right or wrong way to do it.
Exactly. Where does your
no
brain?
No one's gonna be grading you.
No. Where do you lead yourself? Right. What's your subconscious telling you? Again, mindfulness is super important. So just take it as it goes. Yeah. Hey, next one. How do you set your intentions for the year?
Well, I don't normally set intentions for the year. I think I started last year, actually. So last year, I did have intentions to just basically have peace. And I think those intentions really stuck. There was a lot more concrete intentions too, but I don't feel like we need to get into specific
things. Yeah.
But I look back, I think intentions are a lot more about feelings than goals.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm really good at feelings. I feel a lot. Usually positive. When it's negative, it tends to be also very bad.
But that's also okay.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you have to let yourself feel.
No, exactly. So framing these intentions as feelings is very easy for me, but it might not be for people that are more guarded. But I think it's a lot easier to achieve a feeling than achieve a specific goal. And I think both are important.
Absolutely. And I agree with you on the feeling because for me, my intention for the year, at least one of them, was to feel joy every day. So, what's something I can do that brings me joy? So, for example, cuddling my dog. That brings me joy. So, automatically, I'm going to be happy every day. So, I'm already set. But, it makes me feel good. So, as I frame my mind, for me, is I want more joy. I
Love
want
it.
more happiness, right? And that by doing so, that takes up the space of maybe there's negatives that we may not like as much. Obviously, they will still come up. Like we're humans, we feel sadness, we feel frustration, we feel anger. Like it's part of the wheel of emotions, right? So
It's interesting that idea that you said that you put so much positivity that it leaves less room for the negativity.
for me, at least,
No, I heard that used for dieting, as in you put so much healthy food in your body that you don't have room for the unhealthy food. And I guess like feelings and thoughts are like food.
absolutely for your brain, right? And think about it. You have, we're awake, what, 18 hours a day? Maybe that's a lot. I don't know.
Sometimes I am.
Something like that, it depends, right? And then we think about what are all the things we think about in those 18 hours. And if we can focus at least 80% that are happy or joy or growth or mindfulness or being gentle to yourself, that's amazing.
That's a great life.
Right? That's a great life. That's happiness.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's doing that and letting your brain guide you. As things come up, listen to your body, listen to your soul. What do you need? Right? Like again, if you're thirsty, go drink water. So it's the same thing for your brain. If I'm feeling bleh, okay, I need to get up, I need to move, maybe I go for a walk. Right?
So hard
Need
in the
some
winter,
fresh air. I
but
know.
it still feels so good.
But
like
it does.
but getting out
And
is
it's
so
refreshing,
hard.
right? All you have to do, like, I bundle up,
Yeah.
and you can only see my eyes, but it's fine, right? What for me that almost like that shift.
Yes, that's a shift.
It's the
so good.
shift,
Yeah.
right? And sometimes you just need to force that shift, but after you're in it, it doesn't feel forced. It's like, oh wow, I feel so much better. I'm so happy I did it. There you go.
And actually, in that aspect, the cold is actually good.
Yes,
Because
actually.
it resets you.
Yes.
I was reading how people do ice bath and that type of stuff for that reset. Like everything that was weighing on you is gone during that moment, and then you kind of restart. Like, and well, we can do that just by stepping outside. We don't need a
Absolutely.
bathtub of ice. So
Yeah. So those are called cold dips. So maybe this is something we can also do. There's going to be a spot that's opening up in Ottawa for that soon, hopefully in February. But that's TBD.
Nice.
I'll share more of that when that's coming up.
that
But
sounds terrifying.
it's honestly it can be, but I think it goes back to training your muscle,
Yeah.
right? So in this case, yes, your body may like freak out, right? Because you're like your body's like, why are you doing this to me? But after your full body is in, even if you stay 5 seconds, it's already reset,
Yeah.
right? So because your brain is like, it's focused on the what the heck are you doing to me?
Yes.
No longer on the sadness, anxiety, or like any other feelings or thoughts, right?
Mhm.
If we're overthinkers here, we're no longer overthinking about whatever it is because we've now reset. The cold is like a big shock to the body, to the brain, to the soul that forces you to switch it up, right? So that's the benefit, and it is actually real. I've tried it, and it sucks, but it's worth it. Like I said, it is worth it, and I highly recommend if you can, if it's cold enough where you are, or you can find a place where they have cold dip indoors, do it. And, this goes back to our other activity from the previous week with the vision board. Like if you want to do things or you set your intentions for the year, maybe that you want to do more cold dips or you want to do more.
Or maybe one.
Yeah, exactly. We'll start with one, right? And you can use this activity to frame your intentions, right? And they'll be in the back of your mind.
Yeah. And again, the intention is not really a wish list. It's more like a mirror.
Yeah.
And actually, there's a lot of things that are like mirrors in our life that we can recognize and really
Absolutely.
see ourselves with.
Okay, next. What are your gentle intentions for January?
I have several intentions. One of my intentions is actually a few of them are surrounding this project. I want to continue this project imperfectly. I want to not worry too much if this podcast isn't perfect. I don't want to quit because I didn't stick to the schedule because I outlined this whole schedule of like what our podcast for the whole year, what this podcast is going to look like, and release date for all of the different resources. I have 5 different folders for everything, but all of that is needed for me for the structure. But if I don't stick to it, that's okay.
Mm-hmm. And that's
And-
why we call it gentle intention.
Yes,
right?
exactly. So my gentle, like exactly. So it's continuing this project imperfectly, not worrying so much about being perfect. I want to build on last year's foundations. So last year for me personally and the people close to me, it was a very calm year. It was a gentle year. So I want to build on that. I want the feelings to remain gentle like last year, but I want to do more.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to like bring that gentleness into a more productive year.
Almost like transfer that, continue
Yeah.
that energy transfer from just inner to outer.
Exactly. Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah. And I want to take aligned action without pressure. And by that I mean like I want to embrace the year and just kind of align all of my goals, but not pressure myself. And that's going to be like a really hard balance because I really want to push myself, but I don't want to push myself. You know, like
How do you do it without pushing yourself? I think maybe it's just you recognize the hard work you're putting in.
and
Right.
and get excited to do more of it.
Exactly, because now you want to do it,
Yes.
right? It's not you have to, it's I want to do it. I'm excited. This
Yeah,
is
and then this
great.
project is what it's been like.
Exactly.
So it's like I'm trying my day job. I'm trying to get it. I'm not saying like I'm rushing through it, but like I'm like excited for when my day job's finished so that I can start working on these
Something you-
resources.
you really
and-
enjoy.
because
right?
it feels-
a passion.
Yeah, it feels like a project, which I love projects. It feels like working on myself in a way that is also giving.
Amazing. And you are giving to others, right?
Yes.
Because you're making these resources. We're doing this podcast, and it's the time. It's for your own internal learning and
But it's like
being
come with me.
accountable. Exactly, right?
It's like,
Join
come,
us.
come.
Let's build maybe a small community.
Yes. Oh, I need that so much.
It's internal, but you're also doing it externally at the same
Yes.
time, right? Which is, I think, maybe the best because you talk about that balance.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's a really great balance because
Yes.
it forces you to not be. I mean, yes, we're individuals first. We will be wanting to do things for us, but
Yes.
you're already so giving that it's automatic. You would, do this as well. Like,
Yeah, no,
who
it's
you are.
exciting because it's like I can be selfish while still honoring the part of me that loves to like give and to help out where I can.
Absolutely.
So it kind of like fills both sides. It feels good. And the last one kind of goes hand in hand with all of these because it's to deeply explore the themes of the podcast.
Amazing.
So I want to not just read it or just like, prepare these resources, but use them. So to like really go deep in. And one way that I can actually say that I really want to do is to figure out how to do meditation. Because everywhere I hear from people from all kinds of different walks of lives how good it is. And actually today I realized that I do some form of meditation without realizing. When I was walking home from the store, I realized my mind completely blanked because I was listening to the sound of my backpack, like on my back. And it was just going, and that's all I focused on. And then I realized, wait, this is meditation.
Yes. And you almost like zoned out and
Yeah.
your mind cleared.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
You
I want
focused
more of
on the
that.
sound.
I want more of that. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can have like some meditation practices. They will have music playing in the background, right? Or sounds. And the intent is that for your brain to focus on that instead of maybe your thoughts or spiraling. Because sometimes, if I know if this happens to me, if I do yoga, I struggle because it's just quiet. And yes, I'll focus on my body, but I have a hard time because my brain will start thinking about, oh, I have all this work I need to get done. So for me, it's hard, right? Yeah. And that's why I will be honest with you. That's why I've never been able to get into the yoga practice. But there are other ways that work with me, and that's also sound, incorporating multiple senses, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, very important. I do that with my work while I'm listening to podcasts while I work. And I found that by doing this, I actually focus on my work more. You would think it'd be the opposite, but I actually focus on my work more because I needed the two inputs at the same time.
Works. That's very cool. So for myself, my gentle intentions, I know I've already spoken to the joy that I want to bring every day for myself, and making sure that the space in my brain is mainly 90% or 80% or as much as I can, close to 100% happiness or joy or good feelings, right? So that's the goal, because if I can do that, then I'm staying true to myself, because I know it's a mind, body, soul thing. So if I'm bringing joy, if I'm seeing the glimmers, then I make sure that my body feels happy, or I'm recognizing my body because I'm doing things that make me feel good rather than pain, sadness, frustration, which we can't always control. But if we can control it, it's being intentional about the things we do, who we're with, where we are. And that's, I think, really important, right? Control what you can and do what brings you joy. Another one is, again, already spoken about it because they're all on my mind. It's the gentleness, being gentle to myself. And that's making sure that, yes, while it's important to grow and put in the work, and we will always have things we want to do, and I'm a list person, so I will always have a list all the time. It's an ongoing thing. Be gentle with myself if I don't finish everything. Be gentle with myself, and I know I'm a good person. Like, be gentle with myself just overall, because I'm gentle with others and I care for others. So why can't I do that for me too? Right? Wholesome. It's a full circle. So it's a thing that I want to continue to. I want it to become an automatic. And that's the goal. I can train my brain to do that by setting it as an intention, daily, weekly, whatever, and then it'll become easier. And my last one is moving my body. I'm just calling it movement because I know, and we see it all in social media and everywhere. It's, oh, you're January, la, 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 I'm going to go to the gym every day. Well, and then here comes March and you never go to the gym, right? So mine is just, I want to move. I want to move. Dancing? I do. Oh, I do, and we should go. So
I need to go back to joining you. Yeah.
Dancing I like to do. I like to play rugby. Not the full tackle. I'll join the practice match because even the girls' women's leagues, they're intense, I will say. So very intentional about this as well. But making my movement. Making sure that that's good. And even just a little thing like, again, I have my dog, so I'm super thankful, especially in Canada where it's cold. She helps motivate me to step outside, take care of her, I take care of me. So little things like this, I do my dance, I do my rugby, I do sports as well, maybe I can do that, I go skiing. Anything I can do to move my body, I know in the end will bring me joy because, again, it's a mind, body, soul. So I've connected my intentions fully so that they're easier for me to actually do. Because otherwise, like I said, by January, you forget about them. But my goal is to not forget about them and keep it going for all of 2026. And hopefully next year I can set new intentions that are just building.
I love that because movement is so important.
Yeah.
Actually, at your age, you can actually still also focus on just moving. At my age, I have to focus on muscle building because I'm getting closer to that time where the bones are going to get weaker, so I need the strength. So, I'm going to kind of piggyback on your intention, and I'm going to say that I need to work on that muscle thing while I still can before it's too late.
Yes,
that sounds so
absolutely. It's true, and it's scary because as you do get older, gravity is not nice to us. As much as we love this earth, thank you, Mother Earth, gravity just plays a toll on our body, and we need to be intentional about the movements we do.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, next one. What does gratitude mean to you?
Okay, so gratitude for me is paying attention to things. So it's less about like performance and more about, I guess, like in a way, it's mindfulness. Because it's that we tend to focus so much on the things that have gone wrong in our lives because it's easier. Like,
Yeah.
and our brains and our whole body is actually made to conserve energy. So whatever is easier is what you're going to be drawn to doing. But by being purposefully grateful, you realize that your day, like most people, I would say, like, I don't know, 70-80% of people have more good moments than bad moments in their days.
Absolutely.
And
But you
I
don't
know,
notice that.
no,
right?
you don't. So by doing that gratitude, you're actually, finding those things. And sometimes, you realize that some really little things that you take for granted are things that you're really grateful for.
Absolutely.
Like, and you can be so basic. Like, you can totally be like as basic as saying, I'm grateful for getting out of bed because not everyone gets to do that.
That counts.
So like if you actually go like that far into it, then there's so many moments that you're grateful for.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's not about pretending. We're not forcing, like you mentioned, toxic positivity or
Yes.
something. No. It's not about this. It's about gratitude is recognizing and then, being thankful. And then, if it's not something that's good, okay, how can we keep going given this? Or this helped me because this, right? Like we almost like build a story in our mind, and how can you use that story to help you, right? And that's what gratitude is. I'm thankful and I'm grateful for, I don't know, today, and I'm grateful for this moment, and I'm grateful for
I'm grateful for your friendship.
exactly. I'm grateful for you, and like there's so many things, right? We could go down to the minute things. I'm grateful I have hands.
Yes.
But for real,
Yeah,
right?
no,
Like
no,
that's
there's so many
gratitude,
things.
right?
There's so many things to be grateful for.
Yeah,
And it's noticing things
absolutely.
because those things are already there.
Yeah.
So it's just noticing them. And it actually softens the nervous system. It reduces urgency. So like
Absolutely.
it gives you that moment to slow down and just again mindfulness, you slow down, you notice, you're grateful. And like I said, I'm really good at gratefulness because I'm always so grateful for everything. That one is the one I've got down.
Yeah.
Out
And-
of all the practices out there, that's mine.
And that's amazing. And I think when I link it back to my intentions, it helps me look at things with the glimmer that I mentioned. So it's the joy that it brings me, and it's how you frame your mind, that perspective, if you can switch it, that's how gratitude will support you, or does support me at least, right? With the glimmers and changing it and realizing. So that's awesome. Okay, yeah, so now what we're going to do is we're going to do a mini practice, okay? So we're going to do one intention and one gratitude. That's the name. Okay, so, and you can do this anytime, but we're going to practice it today, and we invite you to do it on your own time later, tomorrow, every day, whatever feels good. Okay, so place your hand on your heart, on your belly, or your belly. I'm going to place it on my heart. Actually, I'm going to do both.
Yeah,
My belly.
It felt right.
It felt right. Okay. And make sure you feel comfortable. Your feet are firmly on the ground. You feel grounded. Had to do a switch. Okay, make sure you feel good. And you're going to do a deep breath. Feel it all the way in your diaphragm. And release. And you can continue to do this over and over. And you can pause your breath. You can increase your breath. If you can hold it longer, it's better. And you will notice the more you practice, the more you'll be able to hold your breath longer every day, and you'll just feel better each time.
Thank you so much for that.
Yeah.
It's really like, I don't know, it's such a nice way to end the podcast.
Yeah. You feel better?
Yeah, I do.
Yay.
All right, thank you for joining us. And as long as it works out in my imperfection, we will see you next week.
Yes. And you know,
Otherwise, we will see you soon.
Exactly. And as you think about all these intentions and gratitudes, think about what's one gratitude, what's one intention, and then you're good.
Very good. Very excited.
Bye.